Okay. You serious? No. Troops. That's weird. Silly boy. All right. That was 5 minutes wasted. So. Okay, so today we should, I say this loosely, should be able to finish this project. I think. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure. Feeling pretty good. So where we left off last time, we need to finish the silver highlights on these models, plus everything in the tray. And we also want to do highlights on the grays. Yeah, so this is a little short list. Okay. So yeah, I guess let's just start on some silver. It's so weird that it's just backwards. Let's go ahead and put this yellow wash on first. Jesus. Where the fuck is the yellow? Oh, there it is. Come to me, angel. Okay, this is not the worst approach. This actually is kind of okay. So we're going to let that settle. And then we'll darken it at the upper portion. Yeah, it's not bad. That actually kind of works. We may have to we may have to hit it a couple times. All right.
The painting process begins. Hurrah! Only had to do a little bit of extra filling, thank goodness, with the putty on some few missing spots. And then a coat of black primer. And then I went ahead and also airbrushed on some Vallejo Camo Black Brown. And the reason why I did that is because this guy is going to be mostly done in brown tones. We have skin, we have leather, we have fur, we have wood. All that can be shaded with brown. So it's easier if we just start off with that color for everything. And doing the skin first, because that's the most important. And I want something, a slightly off-color tone. I'm going for something a little yellowish, a little green. We'll see what happens. Beginning with some Vallejo English uniform, which is a nice yellow-green color. Very ochre-y. So we're just covering that, using a nice big brush for it, and getting a decent coat, and then we'll move on from there. We're going to be painting this guy, I don't want to say not carefully, but let's say speed is somewhat essential. Let's go for that.
Hey.
I'm going to start soup.
Okay, baby. How'd your meetings go?
So far, so good. How are you?
I'm fine. I agree.
We got our base coat down, and now I'm adding a little shade via a wash. And this is a mix of military green, which is a very dark drab green, and I have it mixed with Vallejo, one moment, olive brown, which again, it's more on a brown side of a drab green. And I'm putting it on as a heavy wash, mainly because, well, again, we're trying to do this in a relatively short amount of time. And I got a little glaze medium in here so I can be a little bit sloppy with the wash. Main concern right now is we don't want it to dry with bubbles. However, we're going to just put on this coat, and then I'm going to go back and we're going to reapply via dry brush the English uniform. And this is going to be this is one shade of, well, shading. And we're going to be adding more to it, but this is kind of a spot shade, and it'll just get everything prepped and in place. Gives us a little bit of different color going on with our piece. And the other way to apply this, if this was a smaller figure, I would have applied this much more precisely and more with a layering method, but we got a lot of skin to do here, so I'm going this route. So you can see here, this is starting to dry. We're getting a bit of a green tone to the skin, and that'll be reduced once we go back. And off camera, probably I'll just reapply our English uniform. and then we'll start the harder stuff then. So the wash is totally dry, and now we're kind of doing a reapplication of the base coat. And I kind of like the look that the wash gave the skin, so I decided to add a little bit of military green to our English uniform. And because the wash darkened the English uniform so much, this is actually lightening it up, even though we're adding something that wasn't in the base coat. And it's giving it a nice kind of unhealthy hue. Now, in case if you're wondering why I didn't put down that wash color and then just dry brush English uniform over it, I did the base coat and the wash, was because it's the application process, since it's different, even though you're using the same colors, how you apply them can affect the outcome. So if we put the wash mixture, the olive brown and the military green down, and then dry brush the English uniform over that, the effect would not be the effect of the green and brown would be much stronger than it was putting the heavy wash over the English uniform, if that makes sense. In case you're wondering. So you can see we're doing a very careful dry brush here. No brush strokes, even though we're on a smooth surface, because we are dancing our brush over the surface. And then eventually we're going to get to a bit more detail painting on the skin here at some point, because there's so much skin on this model, we want to make that a priority. Where are we going to go from here, though? I don't know. Let's find out once I'm done. Doing one more dry brush layer, added some green ochre to our mix. So we got three colors going on now: the English uniform, the military green, and the green ochre, to start to lighten up a little bit. And you can see here, again, dry brushing. If we do it nice and carefully, just caress the miniature with the brush, we won't end up with a bunch of brush strokes because we have enough of the paint removed from the brush. If you're getting streaks, it means you got too much paint on the brush. And this is just a subtle dry brush. Just adding a little bit of color here. Don't want to add too much. We're not doing big old crevices here. We got a fairly flat skin surface. And again, subtle change is going to give us a subtle transition of highlights. You're burning through a lot of paint here because this is such a big guy. I'm going to keep doing this, and we'll get to a point where we're going to start adding a little, excuse me, a little texture to the skin. I just don't know when I want to start doing that. It'll be soon, though. Beginning to add a little bit more detail to the skin. Once again, same color combination, just with more of our lightener highlight color added, the currently green ochre. And you can see I'm adding a little texture to the skin. I want to do something to it. There's so much skin here. We got to do something than just plain old dry brushing. So just adding a small amount of texture. And I have the paint very, very thin here. So the texture, it looks a lot more prominent when it's wet. If we go back here, you can see it's very subtle on this side. And we're going to build up on this. We don't want to blow our whole wad on the first coat. But that's the process. And basically, I want to do this because I want to give the skin a little bit, not texture like it's rough and bumpy, more it's like dirty. You know, maybe all those little nooks and crannies in the skin that are holding on to dirt. So we're going to keep on this process now, smaller and smaller area, lighter color each time. And it's going to be fairly subtle because we have to paint thin. So that's the process right now. And now we got an upper torso to paint. The highlight process is continuing. Now I've abandoned our green color and we're just using English uniform and green ochre. Heavy on the green ochre. I did one stage between the last one that I did off camera. But you can see here, lightening things up, getting a little bit away from the green. And this color I'm doing much heavier on the face region to lighten up the face. Because if you do extra highlights in the face, that gives you a lot of emphasis on the face when you're viewing it. But for the rest of the body, you're once again just working with our texture pattern. Give them a rough skin look. And we're getting close to the end here. We'll do a few more, and then we'll also start adding some glazes and whatnot to our little gargant. We're going to start adding some more color soon. We're doing one final highlight. I've added beige to our mix, and this is going in a few places for highlights, but what I'm also trying to do is lighten up a few areas, not for just plain highlighting reasons, but we're going to add some color after this. And adding color via glazes or whatnot is a lot easier on lighter color surfaces. So I'm putting this highlight, quote unquote, in a few places, but I'm also concentrating it on those areas where we're going to add the color. So like in the face, mostly, we're going to be adding some color around the knees, color or discoloration, whatever you want to call it. So we are adding this a little bit more extreme here because that's going to pick up those colors that we're going to do next.
I am blanking. It's interesting. Huh. Weird.
So just give you an idea how we are so far. We got some texture, very subtle texture on our giant. Very easy to do on the legs, a little bit harder to do around the chest region because we have more muscles there, and brighter highlights on the face. I think I'm going to actually go back and do a little bit more brightness on the face to bring it out just a wee bit more. So, and it's only been about 2 hours. Not bad. Okay, we're finally on to the color stage. Spicing up our skin tone. And like I said, we lightened up the skin tone so it easier takes this color. And I was planning to use something a bit more flesh tone. However, because of the dark skin, I had to go a little bit darker with this. I'm using In Color Tan, which is a very ruddy brown. As you can see, it's basically like a terracotta color, almost a little lighter than that. And it's going on fairly light. It's not quite a glaze. It's close to it. It's more like a very thin layer. But because we lightened up those areas, again, it picks up the color, and then the recessed areas, it doesn't pick up as much color, so it makes this a little bit easier to apply. I think I'm actually going a little bit overboard on my application here. I need to spread this out a little bit. You see, we're going to add a little color to the face. We'll do a little on the ears here. I got this a little bit thicker than I normally do. Normally I build this up a bit slower, but again, darker skin tone, and we got basically a monster here, so I think I can get away with using a bit heavier coat. And see, just add a little bit to the head there, makes things more interesting. I'm also going to do the hands and the elbows and knees. And then I'll figure things out from there, see if we need to put a highlight on this or not. Then we probably need to go back and add a little bit of color to the shadows as well, but we will see. We're getting close. I went a little crazy with the tan. I actually started adding that all over the place, essentially, over pretty much all the highlights, because I really liked adding that pink tone everywhere. And so that means for the color on the face, I gotta up the ante a little bit. Very subtly, some gory red. See, it's a real nice color to the nose. Yeah, this is a very, very thin glaze. So I'm going to be doing this in just a few spots. Basically nose, ears, and hopefully, like I said the other time, elbows and knees. And I really hope that's it so I can move on to something else. Maybe a little on the cheeks. Maybe there too. And we added some color for the highlights. Now I'm adding some color and a little bit of shade to the, well, shade regions. Going back to our original military green, using it, well, not straight, but not mixing the brown that I did before. And I mixed it with gory red and some stormy blue, which is colors I've already used on this guy in various places. I already added a few other colors here and there. We did the teeth, the lips, added a little color, a little blue. That's where the blue comes in, underneath the eyes. Doing a lot of very small things. I'm not going to tell you about every single one because I may just add some spots, freckles here and there with one color, and maybe add a little spot of blue or a little spot of red. Just trying to go over the big things for you so this video doesn't go on forever. But so we're coloring in the shade here, and then we'll do one more coat. I'll just tell you right now. The gory red and stormy blue on its own, without the green here added. This shade here is mainly to darken the shade where I need it, and then that mix will be to add a little bit of color in the recesses. See right here, I already did some before I decided to go back with the current mixture. It's all coming together pretty fast. Just about done with what I consider the skin portion. That includes teeth, eyes, hair, nails, and all that. I'm sure there's more to do that I'm forgetting right now, but anyway, we're working on the hair. And I started off with English uniform in desert yellow. And the reason I picked English uniform is to blend the hair into the skin, because he's got, this deeply recessed hairline. So want to make sure he's not looks like he's wearing a wig. So we mix in some of the flesh color to begin with. And then I started using, like I said, the desert yellow, but I decided to go a little bit more yellow, switched over to pale yellow and English uniform for highlight. And whenever you're doing shades and base coats, highlights, you don't necessarily have to use the exact same colors. I realized pale yellow would work better as a highlight color, so I just started using that instead of the desert yellow. And we're going to add a little white here or beige or something. Doesn't really matter too much what. And our Techno Viking Gargant is forming up really nicely right now, isn't he?
Excuse me.
The new Alan Hale action figure. He sits down. He snacks. He sits down again. He farts. He tries. He comes with his own lunch.
Action Alan Hale, and Action Alan Hale's got soul separate.
I read about you in the paper last month. Guess it don't really matter, though. I've done enough. You'll be with the kid. My father is beating my mother to death. Bill, you killed my brother! Lay low with me a while. He'll take us with you? How long have you been sheriff now?
2 weeks.
Don't I feel special?
Oh, heaven knows we belong way down below.
When they start writing about you, means you're already dead.
All of a sudden, I'm enemy number one.
There are families in this town hurt by this man's crimes.
Stop it!
I'll send you, Pat. I'm fine right here. He just want money.
I'm coming to get him. Do you think you can run from me?
That one has to die today.
Well, ain't that one of life's partialities?
Now hold on, one more step and it will be your last.
You really think I'm like you?
I know. It is my lucky day.
Wonderful.
What do you think I'd do? You hurt one hair on his head.
I'm taking my nephew with me. Every single one of these people's gonna tell a tale of how you ran.
They know it's not true.
It doesn't matter what's true. It matters the story they tell when you're gone.
Way down below, way down below.
The darkness has come to London. Something moves through the streets like the shadow of a nightmare. It eviscerates all who stand against it. Now, all hope rests with these unlikely few. If they fail, there will be more terror. There will be more death. You think you've seen horror? You know nothing of what it is to be afraid.
Maybe. Fuck.
Every choice has a cost. Whom I choose to trust, and who puts their trust in me.
Liberator, I can still absolve you. Through the High Father's holy temperance, you will be marked pure. For your king's body will be like canvas, and his broken spirit like paint.
It's pretty cool. I keep finding little things that I keep missing. This is just a really detailed fucking Ori. Yeah.
Choice is what defines us and damns us to our fate. But what choice do I have now?
Bad dream?
Every choice has a cost.
Wow, that looks great. Okay. Ugh. Excuse me.
That lovely planet rise up, I simply can't erase. The glory that is Kronos, it's mostly for the Klingon race. But my station in deep space is sadly much too far away. I miss the promenade and the busy cargo bay.
What the fuck is this?
I left my quark and Captain Sisko.
Isn't this a bit premature?
Nearby a trill, they call to me. But Deep Space Nine is rather far. I'm stuck on Forever, where it never rains, no. It only pours. Miss those Dominion wars. I miss Doc Bashir, Constable Bobo, Major Kira, and the operations team. I wish I could beam all the way home to Quark and Captain Cisco. To the S9, my happy time, my dream.
Excuse me. Isn't this a bit premature? All right, now, that's enough. Cut! A space battle? Really? We can wait on that, okay? Hello. My name is Andy Robinson. I played Garrick on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, which means I know a little something about truth and lies. What we left behind is merely a documentary. And like most documentaries, it consists of stories recalled in memory, fueled by emotion. Now, stories require embellishment. Memory can be faulty, and emotion often obscures clarity. The end result is entertaining, informative, heartfelt. But it is truth as seen through a glass darkly. I'm afraid it's the best we humans can do.
I love Star Trek, but this show sucks. They broke Gene Roddenberry's rules for Star Trek.
The whole idea of Star Trek is the idea that they would be exploring new worlds. And going where no man has gone before.
Not bumming around a space station talking about their feelings. It's more like a Star Trek soap opera. As the space station turns, really kind of mediocre at best.
Just watch, say, the second half of the second season and search online for the 5 to 10 best episodes.
Anything else is losing precious time you could use for something more pleasant, like breaking each bone in your hand with a rusted hammer. Oh, God.
Actors don't go into acting to be disliked. They go into acting to be loved. And certainly everyone thought, well, hey, everyone loves TNG. They're going to love the next iteration of the franchise. Well, when that did not happen, and that continued not to happen year in, year out, it gets a little wearisome. And it hurt the actors. I felt bad.
We were in a place where people I don't think we were really ready for the show. And I think we were referred to as the middle brother disparagingly by various people.
I knew that we were the bastard child, which actually was thrilling to me because that gave you guys the leeway to do pretty much anything you want.
We knew we were the middle child, and we knew that, we weren't going to get.
That's cool.
The respect that we deserve.
You have Deep Space Nine, its entire existence was never alone. It was either a companion piece to Next Generation or a piece that was continuing as this new show Voyager began.
The first one and Next Generation are always the ones that are being promoted. But it seems like our show, which is every inch as good as those, and in my opinion, better than those two shows. There's still this perception that we don't match up. I think in time we'll get there, but it's still slightly hurtful.
In a universe of new adventures where no one has gone before, imagine Star Trek Deep Space Nine, coming to your quadrant January 1993.
From the studio point of view, it was certainly one of the shows that we wanted to place a big bet. We were pretty confident that the audience would welcome this franchise.
I was so against it. My mom was against it. I thought I knew what Star Trek was based on The Next Generation and classic Trek. My idea of Star Trek is adventure and exploration.
It bothered me a lot that they didn't go out and boldly explore. That's the whole point of Star Trek.
The mission of the Enterprise is to seek out and contact alien life. Let's see what's out there.
Warp 9, engage!
Mr. Paradise, get us out of here.
You had TNG and you had Voyager. Every week they went to a new planet, and that was fun. Who knows what was going to happen on that planet? We were on a space station, slowly turning next to a wormhole, next to Bajor.
It's not a crew
on a ship named the Enterprise, going out and having fun adventures every week. It's definitely a darker show, and I think that threw people off kilter when it first came out.
What made me excited about it was that it was being sold as the dark Star Trek.
I would imagine the pilot was darker and sexier than anything we had seen.
Yeah, everything about Deep Space Nine was dark and dirty, and the characters didn't all get along, and it was fun. It was exciting. It was something totally different in the world of Star Trek.
I don't know if that was a copy line that the marketing department put out, or if the fans started thinking about it that way, but it got that reputation. And some people still think of that. So I don't want to watch it because it's darker.
Did you feel that the look of the show was different than TNG?
The tone was completely different. And part of that is decided by the production design, Herman sets, by Martin Rush, who had been shooting the show. The way the lighting was built into the set, there was so many practical pieces of light that you could use. And I always called it film noir in space.
Rick and Michael, with our support, wanted to make a Star Trek show that would satisfy Star Trek audience, but different.
I think we saw Avery Brooks on tape before he came in and read, but the sides that he was given to read, he just nailed it.
I thought he was terrific. He was the only one for me who was really able to do Cisco. Because of the duality in his character, he was able to play Cisco with this huge weight on his shoulders, which informed everything that he did.
I remember when Peter Allen Fields and I watched Avery's audition tapes of Cisco. We were shocked. We expected to see a younger man, which is how the part had been written, some guy who was still earning his way in the Federation chain of command. And what we got instead was this mature man, this powerful man. And it's like, wait a second, this is a commander.
I want to see. Where is. Yeah. Oh, that's weird. They did that as stone too. Well, shit. Okay. Yeah, well, the simple way to fix that is just to go in and just cover up the flesh, right? That's all I gotta do. And then redo that dry brush later. Cool. I don't understand what this fucking baby has. I mean, is that metal? I'm gonna go with that's metal. I can't tell, but it's weird. Damn it. Every fucking time. God. thought I could make it, but I've got to pee. So I'm going to go ahead and end.